everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another video about our hashtag April Art Prompts 2022 that I'm co-hosting with Cali Crafty Pam over on Instagram. And I've posted some stuff on Instagram just to review. The first week was Birdsong, and I had done one tag that I showed in my last video, and it was a tag that I had done while I was following some prompts by Kathy, Berg, and Colleen. So I showed that tag in my last video about the hashtag. And I realized that I did some other tags, which I've shown on Instagram. One being this peony for the spring blooms. And this one is for baby animals. Cute little tag there. So I thought it'd be nice to have like a spot to have sort of a collection of all the prompts in one area. So I made this page with just some sprays, dilution sprays, and some paint and some Timmy tissue, some lace, so that I can keep these tags together. So I thought I'll go back and I'll make a tags in this style for Birdsong. So I'll probably insert up here a little insert that has a bit of what this tag looked like before I started. So I added this girl from that I received from Cali Crafty Pam, who's my co-host. This is a napkin I glued on there, and on the back of a rainbow that Cali Crafty Pam had sent me. And she also sent me this cute decorated library pocket, which I stuck on the back of the tag, and I thought that would be a cute spot for me to put the prompt list, which is, I had done this artwork on Procreate. So that's a good little keepsake to keep in this part of my journal. The other thing I wanted to mention was these little music notes. So the way I did those, I took a chipboard music note from the dollar store, and I used a glue stick and a napkin, and I did that napkin burning technique. I'm going to show part of it up here as well. So I had first seen that on Studio MD on their channel, and the person I think they credited it to was Country Outback Crafts. So I will link this video in the description box below. And I think about a year ago or so I had sent that video to Kathy, Berg, and Colleen, and they did a episode of some napkin burning on their stream. So I'm gonna see if I can find that video, and I'll link that one down below as well. It was pretty fun. So here's the cute little napkin I used on here. The background was actually honeysuckle, and then I found this napkin, I think that's honeysuckle, so it kind of went well. And yeah, so that's going to be in this book. So today I'm going to work on week 4, which is Mushroom Madness. So I'll show you what I've already done for Mushroom Madness. I did this coloring book page in this Deborah Muller A Mad Tea Party coloring book. So that's the page I had done for as my first post for Mushroom Madness, and this was a lot of fun. It was really a fun page to work on. I used as a base, I used these Paul Rubin opera fluorescent watercolors that Miss Lennox 2010 had enabled me to buy, and then I finished it up with some Brute Ferner pencils. Also, this page only had these 2 mushrooms drawn in, so I drew in all these other mushrooms because I really wanted it mushroom full. So that was fun. And then the next thing I did for Mushroom Madness was this journal page in my Art Nouveau simple collage book inspired by Dee Dee Willingham. And she'd actually sent me these clear acetate mushrooms and some of these other things she sent me as well. So I made this little page. That was my second post for Mushroom Madness. So today I'm going to do a few other things for Mushroom Madness. Some shrink plastic. So when I was doing my craft room tour, I found the shrink plastic I had bought over a year ago at the dollar store. This is the brand I got. You can see it's from Dollarama. If you can see a little sticker. And I bought it because I was at the dollar store and I saw it, and I remembered Colleen, the scrap chick, had done some shrink plastic art a while ago. I'll see if I can find that video and link it below. So this is my prototype. I'll insert a picture here or here with the dimension when it started. I think it was about almost 2 inches, and then it shrank down to that. Here's a bunch I've already pre-colored, and some of them I used just a hole punch like this, which is what I had used here. I'd used a hole punch to make some spaces, some within the mushroom, some I did outside the mushroom, and then I cut around leaving a space. So that, we're gonna cook those up in a bit. I just have the oven preheating. So while the oven's preheating, I thought I would draw another mushroom. After I had done this, I thought, well, maybe I'm not an expert at it. Maybe I should look at some videos. And I saw some people did theirs colored pencils. They use Posca pens, Sharpies, which are very similar to alcohol markers. So you want to draw it big, knowing it's going to shrink down. So I think this one was probably about this size, and it shrank down to that. This was in some leftover plastic, so this is going to be super tiny. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll check it out. So let's do one more mushroom together. Also, I'm not a mushroom expert, so I did kind of look at some other styles of mushroom, and I noticed there's some that they kind of grow upwards, so I thought that might be an interesting one to color. Almost looks like a flower. And here, let's put spots on this bottom part instead. Usually I've been putting it on the top. So that's kind of cool. Let's do it kind of in like a neutral palette like this one, because maybe these would be good. Or we'll do that with, maybe these three could go together. Start with an orange. And because it's an alcohol marker, it can actually move the other one over. And I'm just going to bring this. I don't know if you can hear Lucy snoring. She's under my desk. You can probably hear she's snoring pretty loud. She hasn't been feeling that well lately, but I think she's starting to feel a little bit better. So that's making me happy. So when we did our prompts for April, we just kind of brainstormed. And I know mushrooms aren't really typically like a spring thing. I think they're more of a fall thing. But we just thought it would be fun to have mushrooms. Mushroom madness. And I'm just wiping off some of the black that gets on this. And you can see I'm using a variety of alcohol markers. This one is just the plain old Artist Loft. And let's see, let's do some of that pink. And I did like the speckled effect that I got on this one, so I think I'll just do that on the inside. We'll just kind of do some speckles. I'll take a lighter pink. So I'm going to make all these charms, and then my plan is to make a tag to go in my journal to go with the other prompts. But I don't know what that tag is going to look like yet. Let's put a little bit of the light pink here. And this is a Copic marker. Let's do yellow. Now all these colors will look brighter once it's shrunk down, because if you think about it, the colors spread out, but it's going to get compacted, so that's going to bring all the pigments closer together. So I like that, but it's maybe a little bit too yellow. Let's tone it down with a little bit of the Stampin' Up! Calypso Coral. I just found it was a little bit too yellow. And let's use the darker Calypso Coral. So like I said earlier, I'm not a shrinky dink or shrink plastic expert. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Use a little bit of that orange and just blend it a bit more. And let's add a little bit of brown. There you go, that's better. Okay, so that's pretty good. And I think I'll do, I'll show you this type of punch. And we're just gonna eyeball it there. And I do find that it gets stuck, and you just have to kind of wiggle it a little bit to get it out. And then you want to cut around. Actually, no, I'm going to cut to the edge. I'm going to keep space around that hole. So some of these have holes in them, so they're more like charms. You could put them on dangles. And then some I left without a hole, which I plan to hopefully just glue down onto a tag or journal page or whatever. And once this dries, it won't really move, so you don't have to worry about touching it, at least in my limited experience. So this was the first and only Shrinky Dink I ever made, so we're going to bring you over to the oven in a moment. I think Colleen, when she did hers, she used her heat gun and a tool that was to hold it down, but I just did this in the oven and it seemed to work. I'm going to use a book to flatten it. I was watching some videos. This one's not perfectly flat, so one thing I learned was when I take it out, I'm going to flatten them with a book. The other thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put like sizes together. So I'll probably do these three together so I can watch them. We'll put these three together, and we'll do those three together. All right, so let's go to the oven. Put these in the oven. I have a parchment paper lined baking sheet. So it's starting to move. So it's going to curl up. Once it flattens back down, I'm going to take it out and then quickly press it with a book to get it really flat. You can see they're all curling up now. When I did the first one, I thought, oh, this isn't working, but they should level themselves out. There we go, the first one's going back down. And then we'll wait till they're almost flat before I take it out. Get my oven mitt ready. Looks like the one on the right's ready to go, but the other two are still flattening. And want them a little bit flatter before I take them out, I think. I'm getting there. Okay, so I'm gonna take it out and push them down with a flat hook. Oh, they stuck, that's okay. Uh-oh. All right, I think that worked. They look flat. You can see the sizing difference, how much smaller they got. Okay, so here we have our blue batch going in the oven. This tray. That worked better, it didn't stick. Let those cool. And the color really concentrates. And they're pretty flat. I flattened them pretty well, I think. So we'll do these last ones now. Woohoo! That's so weird. And we'll quick press this. So here's the finished ones. Bring those up for you to see. That one show it, and then the teeny tiny one. Another thing is I was watching videos about making a dome. So here I had added a bit of crystal effect. So I added some of this crystal effects. I think you could probably use stickles. I know a lot of people, the videos I watched, they used resin, either UV or 2-part, but I don't have any resin and I don't really want to get any. So I don't know, let's do it on this teeny tiny one just as an experiment. So I'm just going to put some stickles on there. We'll see if that stays on. I'm just going to put it on the cap part to give it like a 3D effect. So let's let those two dry over there. I know this crystal effects works, so let's put it on these mushrooms because they kind of match this one. So we're just going to squirt that out on the mushroom cap. And then it can give these mushrooms more of a 3D look. And I believe that it will, with my previous crystal effects, I think it will self-level. So it won't be so bumpy. Just want to make sure I get the caps and then just a little bit on this baby mushroom here. Just a bit. A little bit more up here. Kind of pat it around. It looks a bit gloppy there, but I think if I tap it, it should level. Probably with the resin you get a smoother finish. But let's see how that settles. That's going to probably take a day to cure. So it seems to me, you can see that like this is, seems to be attaching really well. Here's the teeny tiny baby one. I can't see that. And then these are the ones with the crystal effects, and they did smooth out. They're almost dry. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to put some of that glitter on this rainbow. Cool. Let that dry. Welcome to the part of the video where I forgot to press record. So here's our dandelion flashcard, and I added a napkin, Jane Davenport napkin, using some matte medium, and I attached these jump rings to the charms that I made using some pliers. And I'm not a jewelry maker, so this part's pretty easy if I can do it. And here's where I put the rest of the napkin on the back surface of the tag, and you can see I punched 2 holes in the top there. I'm going to add a paper clip hanger. So here I'm just patting down the napkin and just being very gently with the matte medium, which is basically like a clear acrylic glue. And I'm just going to rip the edges off once it's dry. It's a very pretty napkin. I'm just using a water pen to make a little soft spot to rip the napkin with, and making the little holes empty. And here's the paper clips I use. So just a big paper clip, easy to unbend. And then I just clipped it into those little holes with a plier. And I slid the charms up through that wire. I almost closed it before adding the charms. I was like, oh, wait a second, gotta add those charms. So here's the charms. And then I didn't want them to slide down to the, the edges. So I used this, just some simple wire from the dollar store. It's galvanized steel wire. And it's not very thick. You can just cut it with scissors probably. And I just kind of looped it in there, and you can easily bend it with your hands. So I just wound it around the paper clip wire, and then where I wanted my charm to go, I just kind of looped back so that it wouldn't slip back or forth. And I did that with all 3 charms. And that way you could really see the light shining through. You can get shrink plastic in white and opaque colors. I only have the clear one. And the problem with the clear one with the alcohol markers is it's very see-through, so when I put it on the background here, you couldn't really see the colors. So I decided to color the back of it in with white Posca pen. You could use just acrylic paint, or if you had the white shrink plastic, that would probably work better, or if you colored your shrink plastic with maybe a Posca pen or colored pencils. So lots of options. It's just a matter of going with the flow and problem solving. So here I'm just going to attach it down. The Posca is dry, so I'm using some Aleene's tacky glue to glue it down. I put a good amount of glue on there because this particular mushroom isn't totally flat, so I put lots of glue so it would have lots of surface area. And just cleaning up the excess glue with this tool. Then I use Posca on the back of the other 2 mushrooms, and while they're drying, I work on the front of the tag. So here, I think it might be fun to use these mushrooms from Cali Crafty Pam. I think I'm just gonna cut them down a bit. Okay, so I've got them all cut down. I'm just going to ink the edges a little bit with some distress ink. Again, these mushrooms were sent to me by Cali Crafty Pam, who is my co-host for the hashtag April Arts Challenge. You should check her out on Instagram. She does some really beautiful tags and journal pieces, journal pages. Put this under a book. to flatten it. So I decided to add a chipboard M and paint it with pink, and I write out Mushroom Madness with a Pitt pen, and I decorate it with Pitt pen and acrylic pens, and I glue it down with the Eileen's Tacky, and then I glue down those other little mushrooms, and I draw a wiggly border to go with her wiggly hair, and I kind of try to blend out the word dandelion with some Posca pens, and I add a few little marks with a Sharpie. I'm happy with this tag. I could have it like sticking out the top. If I did that. And then my next week, Busy Bees will have to be super thin. There, and then it sticks out the top. So that's kind of cool.